I was doing laundry at Royce's house. So I was literally throwing shit in his machine at one point. He's like, yeah, Owen's coming on, blah, blah, blah today. He goes, you know Alan Powell? He goes, you remember that guy's like a troll, da, 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 da. And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. He's like Royce kind of knew Alan. He's like, I know Alan Powell. I know the dumb name, you know. But he was like, yeah, dude, fucking. He was trying to like get Owen to back out by making it seem like it was an ambush, and Alan Powell was in on it. And then he goes, so he contacts me and he's like, blah, blah, blah. He told me things like, he didn't even know who he was. He's like, this guy, I had to go scroll through his shit. And he's like, that's why I said, never mind. Because then I realized he hates this Mersh guy too, like whatever. So I was like literally stuffing laundry into Royce's machine as he was telling me this. And I go, yeah? Did you tell Owen that's the guy that called CPS on his kids? Because I'm pretty sure that's the guy. And he goes, holy shit, was that the same guy? I'm like, yeah, he's one of the main, like, again, Reddit, PodAwful people, like, there's literally 3 guys. There's Jesse from PodAwful, there's Alan Powell, and there's David Walsh. All right? All 3 of these people are literal. One just happens to have parents with money that can fund his little cute fucking dream of being a comedian someday. Other than that, the other 2 are just Jesse PS, but they were born to poor people. And David Walsh particularly happens to be like, that's not me being mean. It's if you see him speak for 2 seconds, you're like, oh, you're also like. So imagine if there's 3 main guys, right? There's Jesse PS, who's by the way, keep turning the red lights up in the studio. We can see you're fat, your teeth are terrible, you're falling apart physically, like we all are. That's life. And stop trying to be this mysterious Sam Hyde character. And then you have Alan Powell, who everyone knows his teeth are crooked because we've seen them, and he sells prepaid legal. You have these, they're like Pokemon. It's the same thing. They're just psycho weirdo Pokemon. It's just that David Walsh is the most retarded one, like, but they're the same guy. There's 3 guys with 6 accounts, and then they sway maybe 5 other guys that have a few other fake accounts. And they've tried to create some kind of generated outrage that us and Owen are talking, and it's like, yeah, no, Owen's got property and a business and money, and we have a fucking business and money. Well, not really, not tonight. The Dodgers, what happened with the Dodgers? Do I have money tonight? That'll really help out if the Dodgers won tonight. Otherwise, Daddy's put money on the fucking account, and I haven't done that in a week and a half, and that hurts. Know thy enemy. For 5, the great comedian Buddy Hackett had a bit about grudge holding. He said, I never hold a grudge, because when you're holding that grudge, I'm out dancing and having a good time. That's what I mean. It's you have to. I've always called it the Mr. Magoo theory. You got to Mr. Magoo it through life. There's just going to be times where people don't like it. They're going to be throwing everything they can at you, and you need to be working overtime to make sure that you're the guy that. At the end of the day, we've all learned humans are very predictable. We live in a cult of personality age. I've said it. Nick Fuentes is a gay guy, because there's always going to be a few spurgs that just worship that guy, probably because they're gay and they love him, and that's fine. But you have to get a handle on that mentality of just, we're part of a war. We need to be taking the enemy to take this fucking guy now. And at the end of the day, it's like, they're still gonna, like, I'm never gonna take Nick Fuentes down. I never was gonna take Owen Benjamin down. You know what I mean? I was never gonna take, like, you know, and then people got it into Owen's head back in the day that I was gonna take him down, and we had to have talks in private where I'm like, I'm not gonna take take it down, my guy. I don't have any intention of doing that. I'm making fun of you because you're being retarded. You know the Nightwave intro? The one with Owen where he says, you know, oh, that Nightwave guy, I actually got a respectful email from him and he's a man of honor. It's a famous intro. I play it on the show all the time. When Alan Powell, who I assume, I mean, he was the guy bragging about getting CPS on Owen's kids. That was on Reddit. Then immediately tried to call the police and frame me for saying that I called CPS on Owen's kids, which I would never do. The origin of that video where Owen's going, that guy's actually got some honor in him or whatever, that clip comes from when I reached out to him. And during a stream, I sent him an email. And I'm like, listen, man, I want to let you know right now. There's some things, and we talked, and Owen and me and Royce, we all talked about it on the show today. There's things I don't do. There's things I don't do, even to people that perceive themselves to be my enemies and want to take me down. I don't go after your livelihood. I don't go after your payment processors. I don't go after your family. There are things I just don't touch. Now, anything like with Aaron and Melton and Zumach and all these weirdos that like do their dumb shit online, I'll make fun of you. I'll make fun of the shit you put out there. It's sort of what Kiwi Farms used to be before Kiwi Farms became Karen Farms. And by the way, Null is melting down too because his site is falling apart. Null is miserable. Jersh is fucking miserable at Kiwi Farms. If it wasn't his only source of income and his only source of relevance, he would have nuked it a year ago. But he let Kiwi Farms become Reddit because it made more money for him in the end. And now he's become Reddit. They've become edgy Reddit. I mean, Kiwi Farms basically weaponized these tactics over the years, and then a bunch of spurgs took them on and started doing it. When people went after Owen's kids, Owen was made to believe that I was. This is the infamous Mersh. Whenever you hear PodAwful or Porcelain or any of these people go, oh, Mersh, he calls the police on anyone who's mean to him on the internet. First of all, if that were the truth, I would be on hold with law enforcement 24/7. There was one situation where I did not contact police. Why would I? But by the way, people always go, Mersh called the police because people were mean on the internet. So I, a guy who at the time resided in Davenport, Florida, decided to call a detective in Sandy Point, Idaho, because people were being mean to me on the internet. Again, this is what the internet does. They twist and make things gay. No, what happened was Alan Powell bragged openly about, we're going to get CPS on Owen. And then when fucking CPS went to their house, Owen was like, this has to be internet people, blah, blah, blah. Somebody then anonymously contacted, not Owen, the police department themselves and said, I got a lead for you. I know who called CPS on Owen's kids. It's this guy Mersh. Here's a clip of him making fun of him on the internet. I got a call from a detective from Sandy Point, Idaho, which I knew right away. I'm like, fuck, man, I've been goofing on Owen on the show, but what is this bullshit? She asked me to call her back. Obviously, I called her back because I don't want any trouble with cops. She proceeded to try to go, oh, yeah, we have word that you were the ones that called CPS on Benjamin. You've been plotting his downfall for months, blah, blah, blah. And, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, None of that is true. If you want to know the God's honest truth, Owen's a fucking idiot that I goof on the internet. I make fun of him. I get a bunch of super chats. I punch a fucking time card like I am at a job, and I go home. I don't take work home with me. Like, I'm not going in, and then she goes, and I'll never forget, this is where, if you ever hear the term ruse we joke about in our community sometimes, like, I rused him. This female detective was like, at this point, in the police report, it actually says, at this point, I attempted a ruse on the subject. And I bluffed, and I told him, what if I had a Discord recording of you planning people? Because that's what I guess the tipster said. He was on Discord. It was gay ops. You can get a recording. So she tried to go, what if there's a recording of you on the internet plotting to call CPS on Owen Benjamin? And I was like, I would love to hear that recording. Because I go on Discord. I go on Discord for its intended use. I'm never on Discord doing gay ops or whatever the fuck you think it is. I go on Discord to communicate when I'm in a team and the game's in voice chat sucks. That's the only time I use it. Or if I'm having a work meeting or something for work. I'm like, I would love to hear the recording of somebody you're purporting to be me plotting Owen Benjamin's demise. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear that person's impression. And she immediately panicked and was like, oh, yeah, I guess it's not you. I'm like, yeah, it's not me. So then I decided to, and again, if you send the police my way, and I have even an inkling of who I think it is, which back then, we were nobodies. There was only 3 people fucking with me at the time. And I knew they were in Discord plotting the shit together. I threw them under the fucking bus. And I was like, really? I would never do that though. And blah, blah, blah. I said, but I'll tell you this. I know only 3 people I could narrow it down to that have an interest in burning both me and Owen and getting us and Owen to fight each other. Would you like to know their names and where they live? Yes. Make it known now. Am I a snitch? No. Do I actively go out of my way to just dry snitch up? No. If you try to frame me for shit or send the cops after me to do some shit, I swear on all that is holy, yes, I will. Whatever cavalry you send to my doorstep, I will send back onto you tenfold. As Lucas just said, once you involve the cops are involved. And instead, I called this detective back, which is what nobody would do without a detective. Like, anyone would tell you, don't call cops back without a fucking lawyer present. Nope. I called her back. We clarified everything. And I gave her 3 names of people that I guess probably might be involved in this. Because, again, this was like 5-6 years ago when Nightwave was literally Owen Benjamin buzz was all we had. Nobody knew what Nightwave was doing. We didn't have any enemies back then. All we had were friends. Except for a few people that were bummed out that we didn't like them because they came from the Owen Benjamin squad. And we're like, you guys are corny. And they got butthurt. And it was you, Alan Powell. I know you're the guy that tried to get Owen's kids taken away, and you're the guy that fucking tried to get me framed for it. And I sent the cops right back on all y'all. Don't send the cops to my house. Don't send cops to talk to me ever. Look, I'll put it this way, right? If I found out Jim N-word had cops come to question me about something, it's 100%. It's now on board. If I can find a way to have cops come sniff up your fucking ass one day, it's even now. Snitching doesn't apply if you snitch first or try to frame somebody. Then it's like, all right, well, now I'm just going to try to frame you. Jim N-word said, why single me out? Because you're the one who'd be most uncomfortable with cops coming around. Actually, you'd probably be the most comfortable. You live in Canada. They'd come around and be like, we brought Tim Hortons, eh? We got some donuts and some coffee, but we just want to ask you some questions, eh? Also, because you were the last one that commented. I feel like I'm missing something. Did I miss a thing? Did I miss a thing? Nope. That's me echoing into my own echo. I can't do a live read. I'm not allowed. The company. By the way, you guys could. You know, it'd be funny is if at this point just bother Rumble. That would be really funny. Just tag Rumble and Chris Pavlovski and Siraj and tag all of them and be like, how come Mersh doesn't get to do live reads and everyone else does? Seems strange. No, for real, do that. I'm highly encouraging the fans of this show to tag Siraj and Chris and Rumble and make that. Here's the thing. I know why they won't let me do live reads. And I know why they don't like us. I think all of you need to put pressure on them to explain why they don't like us. And when I say explain it, oh, he was mean, he said this, he said that. No, quantify in words why Mersh hurt you so much and why Mersh's hurting of your feelings means more to you than free speech. I thought we were the free speech platform. I thought we weren't going to suppress speech. I thought we weren't going to passively aggressively suppress speech. I thought we weren't going to cause people with unpopular opinions to not be allowed in the marketplace of ideas and sponsors. And I would like Chris Pavlovski and the people at Rumble and the Sirajas and all of those people to explain why I personally am so bad that I can't even have free speech on Rumble. Because Chris Pavlovski doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Hi, my name's Mike Sheely. I met Chris Pavlovski in person. I can assure you, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's in over his head, and he has a bunch of poison people in his ear, milking him like Tony Khan of AEW. You're a money mark loser, and this company is a fucking loser. The first issue of business would be Chris Pavlovski standing down as CEO and finding somebody with principles but better business sense and an ability to withstand getting his dick hard every time somebody like Sneeko tells him, hey bro, you're cool, dude. Hey, let's build a whole house for black streamers that are gonna run to kick a year later. Stop being a bitch. Stop being a Stop being a bitch. This is it. I am using my positive live read time right now to put an open challenge out for Chris Pavlovski to stop being a little bitch. Be willing to take criticism. Don't flinch when we go to a fish lunch whenever I talk. And whenever we try to tell you what's wrong with your platform, stop trying to fucking divert by going like, Dan Bongino has good live numbers. Yeah, nobody has to log into your app anymore. Of course he does, you dumb can sue me if you want to do that. By the way, this has nothing to do with Royce Lopez or ROD. Like, this is me. This is just Mike Sheely on Nightwave Radio. Sue me. Ruin my life if you want to, Chris. You don't have enough money to fight me in court at this point. The company's collapsing. It's a house of cards. You're a bunch of We have been giving you advice for years now on how to fix this. Step one, fire most of the people giving you what you want to hear. You fucking Canadian who up until you did an SPAC scam with Dan Bongino to get into the fucking NASDAQ Before any of this, you were a nobody. People were posting cat videos and gaming videos on your stupid little Canadian site. Nobody cares about you. You're irrelevant. Google could buy us tomorrow and make you nobody. You know this. And the moment you made it publicly traded, you exposed us to that. It could be bought by anyone. It's a fucking fuck you. How about that? How about that at the next fucking meeting? Let's do that. Shut the fuck up, Chris. Go ahead. Challenge me on this. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. Fuck Rumble. Fuck locals. None of you people give a fuck about you people are actively running this as something you know is going to collapse and was only around to keep Trump going for a while. There was never any fucking passion from day one. Royce and I gave you more than any of you gave this company yourselves as you collected paychecks and rented a fucking property in Longboat Key that Dan Bongino and Dave Rubin can dock their boats and their cocks to. Let's do that at negotiation. You want to play ball? We'll go to kick, you fucking f***s. And the reason I want it is not because I want you to troll them. I don't want you to be shitty to them. I don't want weird doxing, gay, internet gay shit. I want them to be backed in a corner. All I want, and all I've ever wanted for the past 2 years, is for Chris Pavlovski and Suraj and all the people there at Rumble, instead of doing internal communications and constantly worrying about what Mersh is doing, I want you to finally come out in public and admit that you just don't like me. You don't like how I communicate my feelings, which in turn would be hilarious for the free speech website. Is Mersh being treated differently than other people on the so-called free speech, everyone's even platform? More at 11.
We all have a weakness. Some of ours are easy to identify. Look me in the eye and ask for forgiveness, or make a pact to never speak that word again. Yes, you are my friend. We all have something that digs at us. At least we dig each other. So when weakness turns my ego